How bad do you want it? No. Don't just say real bad. I'm talking about can't sleep, can't eat, can't think about anything else bad. I'm talking about you're willing to sacrifice comfort, distraction, and excuses just to take one more step toward your dream. See, everybody says they want success. Everybody talks about change. But when pressure hits, they fold, they hide, they quit. But not you. Because if you really want it, if you're serious, then you're willing to suffer for it. You're willing to bleed, cry, crawl for it. You don't care how long it takes. You don't care how hard it gets. You just want it. More than the party, more than the sleep, more than the approval. You want it so bad, you're willing to be misunderstood. You want it so bad, you're ready to outlast the pain. This isn't about talent, luck. This is about grit, fire, obsession. This is about doing what others won't, so you can live the life others can't. So I'm asking you one last time, how bad do you want it? If you want something, really want it, then wanting it isn't enough. You have to become obsessed, not interested, not curious, not halfway committed. Obsessed, the kind of obsession that changes your routines, that shifts the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you think. You don't wake up and try. You wake up and hunt. You wake up and chase. You wake up with purpose pounding in your chest and urgency running through your veins. This isn't about trying something out to see how it feels. This is about burning the option of failure right out of your vocabulary. When you're obsessed, there is no backup. There is no alternative life. There's only one path, one mission, one fire, and it's burning 247. See, the truth is, most people say they want success. They say they want change. They talk about goals, but they don't really mean it. They want it when it's easy. They want it when it's popular. They want it when it comes with applause and support and momentum. But the minute it gets hard, the minute it gets lonely, they disappear, they quit, because they weren't obsessed. They were just curious. They liked the idea of winning, but they weren't ready to commit to the pain of progress. But if you're obsessed, you don't need the applause. You don't need the spotlight. You don't need the validation. You wake up before anyone else and stay up after everyone's gone to bed. Because this vision you carry, it's not a hobby. It's not a side project. It's who you are. When you're obsessed, it's in your blood. It's in your bones. It's in your soul. You can't shut it off, even if you wanted to, and you don't want to. Obsession changes your focus. You stop wasting time. You stop explaining yourself. You stop trying to convince people who don't get it, who don't feel it. Because when you're obsessed, you don't need permission. You don't need consensus. You don't need comfort. All you need is the fire. That fire that keeps you locked in when distractions come knocking. That fire that keeps you pushing when the results don't show up right away. That fire that whispers, keep going, when everything inside you wants to stop. And let me tell you something else, the obsession creates discipline. It fuels it. When you're obsessed, you don't need motivation. You don't need someone to text you and say, get up. You don't need a quote on Instagram to remind you to go to the gym. You don't need a YouTube video to get in the zone. You're always in the zone. You're living in the zone. You're breathing in the zone. Because obsession locks you into the lifestyle that success demands. People look at champions and think they're lucky. No, they're not lucky. They're obsessed. They trained when no one was watching. They studied when everyone else was relaxing. They sacrificed when it wasn't convenient. They obsessed over the details. They reviewed every play, every step, every move. They replayed it in their mind 100 times before it even happened. Because they didn't just want to win, they had to win. Losing wasn't an option. Your mediocrity wasn't on the table. You can tell the obsessed person when you walk into a room. You can feel their energy before they even speak. You can see it in their eyes. There's no hesitation, no confusion, just laser focus, just fire. That's what separates the top percent from the rest. It's not talent, it's not money, it's not the perfect timing, it's obsession. That relentless, ruthless, unstoppable obsession. And you might be wondering, is an obsession unhealthy? Not when it's directed toward growth. Not when it's rooted in purpose. Not when it wakes you up from the sleep of average and mediocrity. What's unhealthy is wasting your potential. What's unhealthy is living your life quiet and scared and distracted. What's unhealthy is hiding behind excuses while your dreams die in the dark. Obsession is the cure, not the disease. The world tries to tame you. It wants you balanced, neutral, mild. It wants you manageable. But nothing great ever came from someone who was manageable. Greatness is born in extremes. It's born from the people who go all in, the ones who bet everything, the ones who live on the edge and don't flinch. And that only happens when obsession takes over. So ask yourself, are you interested or are you obsessed? Do you think about your goals when it's convenient, or do you breathe them in every second of the day? Are you working like someone who hopes to make it, or like someone who refuses to fail? That difference right there is what defines your future. It's not about talent. It's not about where you started. It's not about what they said or didn't say. It's about what's burning inside of you. Obsession will take you where motivation can't. Obsession will push you through the resistance, the boredom, the fatigue. Obsession will make you immune to the critics, the doubters, the noise. Obsession will teach you how to suffer, how to bend without breaking, how to keep showing up when everything says you shouldn't. This is the moment you decide who you are, not with your words, but with your grind, with your focus, with your obsession. No more halfway, no more sometime, no more maybe. If you really want it, then prove it. Don't just want it, obsess over it.
Success doesn't come to those who seek comfort. It comes to those who are willing to give it up. If you want to reach the next level, you have to stop chasing ease and start embracing the discomfort that growth demands. Comfort is the enemy of progress. It's the silent killer of dreams. It whispers, take a break, when you should be grinding. It says, you've done enough, when the truth is, you're just getting started. And the people who stay trapped in comfort, they never grow. They never change. They stay in the same place, year after year, wondering why life isn't getting better. But growth only happens when you stretch yourself, when you willingly step into discomfort and say, let's go. You have to understand that greatness doesn't live inside your comfort zone. It lives beyond it. It lives in the early mornings when you're tired, in the long nights when you're working while others sleep. It lives in the sacrifices, the discipline, the hard choices. When you want something bad enough, you'll trade anything for it. You'll give up the party. You'll say no to the distraction. You'll walk away from what's easy and familiar because you know what's on the other side of that sacrifice is your future. You'll stop choosing what feels good now and Start choosing what builds something better later. Because you know that comfort might feel good today, but it steals your potential tomorrow. Most people can't make that trade. They love comfort too much. They want the rewards, but they don't want the cost. They want success, but not the struggle. They want the results, but not the routine. But there's a truth you can't avoid. If you want to grow, you have to be willing to get uncomfortable. You have to lean into the pain, the pressure, the silence, the loneliness. You have to show up when no one's clapping, when no one's watching, when it's just you versus your excuses. Every time you choose comfort, you reinforce mediocrity. But every time you choose growth, even when it's uncomfortable, you take a step closer to greatness. It's not about how talented you are. It's about how disciplined you are, consistent you are, how willing you are to do what's hard over and over again without immediate reward. That's what separates the winners from the watchers. The ones who live their dreams from the ones who only talk about them. You can't have it both ways. You can't chase your dream and cling to comfort. You have to pick one. Because the dream will demand your focus, your effort, your patience, your resilience, and comfort will offer you distraction, entertainment, ease, and pleasure. It will seduce you with what's easy. It will try to convince you that you can coast your way to the top. But you can't. That's a lie. The truth is, the top is reserved for the few who are willing to suffer for it. The few who can delay gratification. The few who can say no to the things that feel good now in exchange for what's coming later. Think about the person you want to become, the life you want to live, the legacy you want to leave. Do you really think that version of you lives in comfort? No. That version of you was born in fire, in adversity, in discipline, in sacrifice. That version of you had to walk through discomfort again and again until it became normal, until it became home, until you learned to live in the discomfort and use it as fuel. It's not supposed to be easy. You're not supposed to feel ready. Growth is painful. Change is hard. That's why so few people do it. But you are not like most people. You're willing to go through what others won't. You're willing to make the trade. You're willing to give up comfort for clarity, weakness for strength, distraction for focus. You're willing to say, this is hard, and I'm still doing it. That mindset, that's rare, that's powerful, that's unstoppable. Stop looking for shortcuts. Stop asking for hacks. Stop waiting for motivation. Just make the decision. Make the sacrifice. And don't make it once. Make it every single day. That's how greatness is built. Not in one big moment, but in 1,000 small decisions where you say no to comfort and yes to the challenge. Where you take the hard road, not because you have to, but because you choose to. That's where confidence comes from. It comes from knowing that you've done the hard thing again and again. It comes from discipline, from integrity, from earning your own respect. When you sacrifice comfort, you build mental toughness. You develop grit. You become the kind of person who can handle anything. Pressure, failure, setbacks, doubt. You become bulletproof. But none of that happens if you keep running to what's easy. If you keep choosing temporary pleasure over permanent purpose. If you keep hiding from discomfort instead of stepping into it. Your dream is not found in your comfort zone. It's found in your discomfort zone. In the reps, the sweat, the tears, the silence. And it's waiting for you. But only if you're willing to pay the price. So if you really want it, stop chasing comfort. Start chasing the pain that shapes you. The pain that makes you better. The pain that builds something real. Every great life has been built on sacrifice. Every strong person has walked through discomfort. And if they can do it, you can do it too. You just have to want it more than you want to feel good. You have to want it more than you want the weekend, more than you want sleep, more than you want approval, more than you want what's easy. Because comfort might make you feel safe for a moment, but sacrifice that will make you powerful forever. The pain is the price. That's the reality. That's the truth most people don't want to hear. If you're going to do something that matters, something that stretches you, something that builds a life worth living, then pain is part of the process. There's no shortcut around it. There's no bypass. You can't skip the suffering and still expect to rise. You can't pray for greatness and avoid discomfort. If you want to grow, if you want to succeed, you have to be willing to pay the full price. And the currency is pain. Most people run from pain. The minute it gets hard, they quit. The minute they feel doubt or fear or pressure, they start looking for an easier way. But there is no easier way. The ones who make it to the top are the ones who don't just endure the pain. They embrace it. They expect it. They use it. They understand that pain is a teacher, and it's the only one that never lies. Pain doesn't care about your excuses. Pain doesn't care about your comfort. Pain will show you exactly where you are and exactly what you're made of. It strips you of your ego, your lies, your illusions. It makes you real. When you go through pain, you come face to face with yourself. And that's where change begins. That's where power is built. Not in the moments when everything is easy, but in the moments when everything hurts and you keep going anyway. That's when strength is born. That's when grit is formed. That's when discipline becomes your identity. It's in the pressure, in the rejection, in the struggle, in the silence. When you feel alone, when you want to give up, when the voice in your head tells you to stop, and you say, not today. Pain is a gift. Most people won't see it that way, but the ones who do, they become unstoppable because they learn to stop fearing pain and start respecting it. They learn to extract value from every setback. They learn to grow in the fire. And when you learn to grow in the fire, you stop being scared of anything. You stop making excuses. You stop blaming. You stop waiting. You start building. You start showing up. You start taking control. There is no version of greatness that doesn't walk through pain. No legend, no icon, no champion that didn't suffer for it. They all paid the price. And if you want what they have, you have to be willing to do what they did. You have to be willing to suffer, to sacrifice, to be uncomfortable for as long as it takes. That's not punishment. That's preparation. That's what separates the people who talk from the people who do. Your pain has a purpose. It's not random. It's not pointless. It's shaping you. It's teaching you resilience. It's building your tolerance for struggle. Every time you go through something hard and come out stronger, you level up. You become someone new, someone sharper, someone wiser. Pain upgrades your identity. It forges a version of you that doesn't fold under pressure. A version of you that doesn't quit when it gets tough. A version of you that shows up every single time, no matter how hard it gets. But here's the key. Stop dodging pain. Stop waiting for it to go away. Step into it. Face it. Feel it. Let it shape you. Let it mold you. Because if you do, one day you'll look back and realize that every single painful moment was building you into someone you didn't even know you could become. Pain is not your enemy. It's your forge. It's the fire that turns weakness into strength, fear into courage, doubt into confidence. But only if you're willing to go through it. Not once, not twice, but over and over again until pain becomes your ally. Until you stop flinching, until you stop shrinking, until you walk through storms with your head held high because you've been through worse and survived. People will ask, how did you get so strong? And you'll answer, I stopped running from pain. I let it make me who I am. Because when you avoid pain, you avoid growth. When you fear pain, you fear your own potential. But when you embrace it, you become limitless. You become dangerous. Because nothing can stop a person who's already walked through hell and kept moving. Nothing can intimidate a soul that's already been broken and rebuilt. That's the kind of strength pain gives you, if you let it. So if you're hurting right now, if you're struggling if you feel like giving up, don't. This is the part that builds you. This is the season where champions are made. Don't waste it. Don't run from it. Feel every ounce of it. Learn from it. Grow through it. And when it's over, when the pain fades, you'll look in the mirror and realize you didn't just survive. You evolved. You want success. Then understand this: the path is paved in pain. The higher you climb, the more pressure you'll feel. But pressure doesn't break diamonds. It makes them. And you are no different. If you stay in the fire long enough, you'll come out sharper, stronger, unstoppable. And when that moment comes, when everything you worked for finally arrives, you'll know deep down that you earned it. Not because it was easy, not because it was fun, but because you were willing to pay the price that most people won't. That's the difference. That's the mindset. That's how you rise. Through pain, through fire, through everything.